Sorry about that, folks. The last one basically cut off, but pretty much, yeah. Post a link if you can find that Punisher story thing or another. And no, I'm not shooting another typical Night on Xbox Part 2. I actually found, much to my very pleasant surprise, that my good YouTube buddy, the Monster from Hell, has actually come back onto Xbox, which is a good thing because I kind of want to get him involved in this discussion since he's a comic book fan like I am. I've been actually talking about the ideology of superheroes, and I know for a fact, man, that you talked about Batman and what he means to you, but pretty much just in your own opinion, do you actually believe that superheroes nowadays are kind of being, in a sense, whored out, and they're not being looked at as the role models and icons that, you know, you and I kind of grew them up to be known as?
Well, here's the way I look at it. When it comes to be Halloween, there are little kids dressed as Batman or Spider-Man or Iron Man. The only real attention that their costumes actually get out of people is that, oh, don't they look so cute? You know, that's basically a good way to sum up the public viewing of superhero characters today. Is that, they're just you know, cartoon characters, and you know, they're characters that we can't really take all that seriously. So yeah, and especially with most of these live action movies coming out, I'll admit some of them have been really good. I'm not gonna lie. Hey, the newer Batman movies have been good. Though some of the things that they did I didn't really like, but.
And I mean, it's funny because right before you and I actually, you know, started shooting this, you and I just had a brief discussion, and considering that you and I both have the exact same thoughts on this, but to pretty much give it in retrospect for some of you guys who are watching this video, the Monster from Hell and I both have the same opinion that The Dark Knight, even though it is Batman, and yeah, it was a good film, it's become a bit overpopular, and that it gained a lot of its fame, no disrespect to him or his family, from Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. Which, I mean, it was good for a realistic Joker, but it wasn't the end-all be-all performance, and it kind of actually angered me because I went to go see it because it was Batman, not because it was
that's exactly the reason I wanted to go see it. Even before Heath Ledger's untimely death, I was still planning to see it, just because this was a guy that somehow become really famous. That he knew almost every single actor, almost every single person out there knew who he was from, you know, A Knight's Tale and Brokeback and stuff. When they heard about his death, they were shocked. They decided they would come see the movie just to commemorate him. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, this is the true story of making videos.
Anyways, yeah, that happens. People walk in on accident.
Well, not just that, but just, you know, technical issues like your mic flux out and stuff.
No, that wasn't it. My mom just walked in, so I had to tell her I was doing something. Yeah, but anyways, where was I?
You were basically talking about how people knew him from Brokeback Mountain and stuff.
Yeah, and when people actually heard of his death, there were dozens of people out there who knew nothing about Batman, or, you know, who haven't even seen Batman Begins, the previous movie which came before The Dark Knight. They decided to come see it just because it was Heath Ledger's very last movie. So just so they could do it out of a sheer sense of, you know, being a good person. You know, since none of them probably had the sort of free time or the money to actually go to his funeral. And on top of that, when people actually saw The Dark Knight and saw how much of a really good comic book movie that it was, they were like, holy shit, that was awesome. That was great. Holy shit, that was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. You know, I don't know anything about Batman or any of these characters that are in this movie, but holy shit, it was awesome, and Heath Ledger was brilliant.
And
nobody ever paid attention to. It was all about Heath Ledger, Heath Ledger, Heath Ledger. Nobody gave a shit
And
about
see,
Morgan Freeman
and it's
or
kind of
Michael
the
Caine, or even Aaron Eckhart as Two-Face.
yeah. Kind of try to interject here a little bit. It's kind of the same thing with Robert Downey Jr. in the Iron Man films. Nobody cares about the Hulk or anybody else. All they care about is that, you know, oh, Robert Downey Jr. and Iron Man. It's like it's almost like a fad with like non-comic book fans, but moviegoers in general. And I understand it, but it's the same thing too with Marvel as well. The studios are just as bad. Like Marvel is pushing the Avengers way too much. You know, it's like let the movies stand out on their own. And I kind of
and that's one thing I can agree with. Blows himself up, dude. And if none of you know who that is, look him up. He's a pretty. Look him up.
You know, and even Ziploc Bloody even talked about it too. Ziploc Bloody even said that Marvel needs to slow down, let the movies take. And Ziploc Bloody said it best. He said, slow down, Marvel, let the films stand on their own, let Iron Man be Iron Man, let Hulk be Hulk. We know the Avengers are going to assemble, we're all excited, but quit alluding to it. We know it's going to happen, you know, like 2 years down the road.
Yeah, blows himself up, dude, commented on that. In his Iron Man 2 review, he said that he absolutely loved the movie, but that he also said that for all the people out there who complained about it not, you know, containing enough references to the Avengers, he said that those people are missing the whole point. The whole movie is not about the Avengers. The whole movie is about Iron Man.
It's about Iron Man, and pretty much, though I will admit, though, and if people are saying that there's not enough references, okay, anybody, I dare you, rent or rewatch your copy of Iron Man 2. Look during the Monaco race scene and pause it when they show all the drivers, and also when you see the so-called recruitment scene when they're doing that psych evaluation, pause and freeze frame it on a couple of things. You'll see a map, and this is what I loved because I noticed this when I was watching the movie, as I'm sure you did. You will see a map of the world, and you'll see one part that looks like it's in the Atlantic Ocean, which is a clear reference to Namor, the Submariner. They show one in Africa, which is a very blatant reference, Jon Favreau said, to Black Panther, Wakanda. They showed one in like the UK for maybe like, you know, Captain Britain or like MI6. So they made plenty of references to other superheroes. And I mentioned the Monaco racetrack because presumably when you see like the British flag on there, the name, the last name of the driver is supposedly a reference to the character Union Jack. And they've even referenced in Captain America that we will see probably like the first iteration of Union Jack.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing though, like the way Marvel is establishing this new cinematic universe of theirs, this is something that really nobody else has done before. And I was in a discussion with this other guy, and he basically brought that up. Nobody else has ever really done this in a series of movies. You know, there isn't a series of completely different movies that are all like set in the same universe, that are all set within the actually the same world. And I basically said, well, that's all the more reason why Marvel needs to take this slowly.
And you know what? Honestly,
not rush this.
And honestly, if DC takes a page out of there, and they actually, with the last few seconds on the clock here, we'll cover this in the next video hopefully, but DC needs to get on that.